Hi, this is Joyce Polino-Crane. I'm the news director at WestfordCAT. I'm here today with Superintendent Bill Olsen and Kristi Bates. The two of you know each other and had a little bit of a disagreement that you would like to clarify. It has to do with back about a year ago, the nominating committee proposed that the Stony Brook School be renamed after you, Bill. And Kristi didn't totally agree with that decision, and so you came together and for a while, and I guess in March of last year, you had an article, Kristi,
at town meeting,
at town meeting, annual town meeting, to rename the Millennium School after Bill. There's also another article that was set up to name Stony Brook after you, Bill.
That's correct.
And then things sort of proceeded from there. Who wants to tell that part of the story? Would you like to?
Sure. So I think a lot of people know what happened at town meeting, and both motions were dismissed at town meeting, and there were some hard feelings after that. And I guess I'd like to say that this is really about the emails that the school committee mentioned at the February 10th
Exactly.
meeting.
Chris Sanders read a list of things, reasons why they have not yet extended your contract,
That's
Bill.
correct.
And one of the early points was that there had been an email exchange with a parent, they said, that caused concern, and the parent happened to be you.
That's right.
And so you and Bill had a little bit of an exchange that maybe some people are trying to get a hold of to publicize, and you would like to sort of get in there before it's
That's right.
brought to light by other people.
Yeah. What I'd like to make clear is this is not a rebuttal to the school committee's statements on February 10th. You know, Kristi and I talked about this. I think it was her suggestion, certainly, that we come here and try to get ahead of the issue at hand, because when things go out into the public, and particularly in the day and age of social media, sometimes not so many good things happen. And the reason we wanted to come here and talk with you is we want to be very upfront and honest in terms of what that exchange involved, not reading it, but what it involved, and the fact that we've come to a resolution. And so an issue that we thought was resolved last August has now grown some life again.
It's
and
resurfaced.
Yeah, and we all know what happens when issues become a public matter in the day of social media, and so that's why we're concerned, and we want to set the record straight for the public.
And
Yeah.
I would like to say, I would like to thank you for having us here.
Anytime.
And it was my request to do this today, because I do think, as Bill said, that it's very important that we set the record straight, because there was a request for public information, so the emails will be out there in some form, and we want to make sure that everybody knows the whole
Right,
picture
that's
and not
correct.
just what they're going to read in the emails, because that was just the first part of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were hoping, honestly, also to somewhat make this a learning experience for our students, who each and every day we talk to them about being respectful, being good listeners, talking through issues, and not acting with emotion. And quite honestly, that's one of the things that precipitated this, is that, you know, I've always dealt in facing issues at the empirical end of the discussion spectrum as opposed to the emotional. But here's an instance where, contrary to the wisdom that you would assume a person would accumulate over time, I got too personally involved in this, because it did involve me, and I knew I shouldn't have, but it happened. And so the big issue is, how do we work towards resolution, and where are we now and going forward?
Where are you now, Kristi?
I think we're in a very good place, and that's especially why I'm here, because getting the email over the summer was difficult, but it was addressed, and not only were apologies received, but we met together with a school committee member there and discussed it and had an open discussion, and it was really to clear the air about what had happened at town meeting, and there was I feel a lot of confusion with that meeting, and so we met and we talked about it, and then we moved forward, and we really did move forward, and Bill and I have been in various meetings together. I've been attending a lot of the capital planning meetings where Bill's been, all the school committee meetings, as the superintendent open houses, put a plug here for those, they're very good. And so I see him a lot, and he's reached out to me. We've gotten together for the occasional coffee and really made amends. And so it's not, this is a story, this was hard to get a tough email like that for me. But I think that a lot of positive came out of a little negative. And that's what we want to emphasize.
Very much so. And this is the type of issue that has the ability to, once out in the public, turn a peaceable community, which Westford is known for, into a not so peaceable community. And there is nothing worse than that. You know, we've built a school system with a tremendously strong, positive and respectful, trusting culture. And I know the town has been able to accomplish that also. That's what separates this magnificent town from most others. But it doesn't take much to have discord occurring in social media and in coffee shops, and so that's why we're very concerned, is that it's time for everyone to take a collective deep breath and say, look, we've moved beyond this, and have a terrifically respectful working relationship. I have to tell you, Joyce, one of the perspectives that I bring to this is that about 12 years ago, I always refer to as the Christmas cookie incident, where I sent home a very, very nicely worded letter to parents saying, we want to allow children to celebrate the holidays, but I'm going to ask that you please not send in sugar-filled snacks. Well, that went to the Lowell Sun through a parent. That went on to WBZ radio, and then on to the Huffington Post.
Oh my goodness.
And by the time it reached the Huffington Post, it was that a superintendent in Westford, Massachusetts, was denying children the ability to observe or recognize Christmas. And I received death threats from all over the world.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's one or two communities in Oklahoma that I will never travel through. I won't mention them, but I received an awful lot of emails, threatening emails from there. Australia and England, and so that's how it can really get out of control.
Spiraled.
And you know, emails saying I was a terrorist, I was a Nazi, I was inhuman, and it was. But you know, here's why we're here. Once I started sending email responses to those people who were threatening me, they responded back very nicely saying, we apologize. We didn't understand what the true nature of the story was. And that's one of the reasons why we're both here, is that, you know, there's a lot that can be made from this, but it shouldn't, because you're talking to the two participants here who have been involved. And yeah, I you know what, I let my professional guard down at a point in time. And I will say, the first time ever in my, what is now my 49-year career, and it was regrettable, but we've learned from it, and I've learned from it, and just like we expect our students to learn from it.
And just seeing the two of you sitting here side by side makes me feel like it's, you know, it's over. It's a.
We thought it was.
Yeah.
Right.
So I am so happy that you are here and enjoying each other's company every so often for a cup of coffee. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Well, you know, as I said, we thought it would hopefully be a learning opportunity for our students and for community members also, that, you know, sometimes you have to take a step back and really think about that 24-hour rule before you send something out. And in my case, I probably should have made it a 48-hour rule before I sent it out.
Yeah.
But, and once again, you know, I want to be respectful of the school committee. This is, I'm not here as a rebuttal. We thought it would be good before the ills of social media took over and all sorts of stories were flying around out there that shouldn't be, because they're harmful to Kristi, they're harmful to my reputation, and it's harmful to the community.
Yeah, it is. And you're right, we want to set a good example for the children. This town wraps itself around education, and especially Westford Academy, and we can't let the children see we're fighting, because they will learn that road. They will take that road instead of the right road.
Very, very true.
Good point.
So, Kristi, have we covered everything? Is there more to discuss?
I think we have,
covered
that's
everything.
pretty much what we wanted to get across, is that there has been, mistakes can be made, but the bigger person is the one who owns up to them, apologizes, accepts apologies, and move forward. And we have moved forward, and this is a closed case.
Yeah, you know, I was telling someone the other day, this situation reminds me of Bob Ross painting. If you have seen Bob Ross on public television,
Bob Ross,
where it
on PBS.
starts out as somewhat of a mess, and you can't understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
And then with more refinement, the end result is a picture that you can see quite clearly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we are now, and
Yeah.
have been for a while in terms of the resolution of this.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that good things can come from negative, and and something I feel very positive about where this journey has taken me.
And me also. We all learned, and it goes to show you, I don't care whether it's 70 or 7 or 107, you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes sometimes, but it's in the resolution of them and the positive movement forward. I think that's the most important thing.
It takes great maturity and fortitude of character to do what you're doing, so I commend you both, really.
Well, we thank you for allowing us
you.
to speak with you and to speak with the audience.
Well, you know you're both always welcome here.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to the community directly, either one of you?
Well, the only thing I'd like to say is that this was an issue that, in my understanding, was over. And unfortunately, it gained some public notoriety again on February 10th. And once again, not a criticism of the school committee, but we're living with now the release of information that somebody could construe in a very different manner. And so we want the community to focus on those things that are important. We want the staff and the school system to focus on those things that are important, and those things are children and the needs of children. And that's the most important thing for me, because I've always said that what's separated our school system from many others is the stability in terms of leadership, in terms of programs, staffing, personnel, etc., and the focus on students, always, always, always focused. And that has been somewhat diverted in the last several weeks or so, and we just want to see it back to where it is. We want to see the town really communicating well, and not water cooler talk, but face to face in terms of what are the important and meaningful things in Westford.
Boy, you just said that so beautifully.
What he said, yes.
Yeah, what he said. I was thinking as you were talking about the Westford Academy alumnus, is that the right word, alumnus, Ari Fleischer, who got up at the last, was it the last school committee meeting, and she was wearing the sweatshirt that said, "In Bill We Trust." And she was explaining why she's wearing her superintendent's picture on her. And she's trying to explain this to her roommates, who do not get the concept of what Westford is all about.
Well, she said they didn't know the name of their superintendent.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One of them knew his name because he got arrested.
That's right.
It was very, very funny, and I just thought a little bit of humor does not hurt.
Does never hurts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Would you like to say Any parting words to the community?
Again, thank you for having us, and I do hope that I just recently heard the term peaceable Westford, peaceable community.
A peaceable Westford, a peaceable community.
And to what Bill just said, I do look forward to getting back to Westford, a peaceable community. And I do thank Bill for being here and you for sharing this experience with us. And I am very happy to get the word out that this was a learning experience for me, and I'm ready to move on again.
And I would echo that for myself, sure.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for coming.
Joyce,
Thanks for
thank
having
you
us.
very much.
And come again.
Thank you.
Door is always
Do that.
open. For WestfordCAT News, this is Joyce Polino Crane. Have a great day.